What's up, guys? We're back with another episode. Today, we have the privilege of being with Diego, as always, and our guy, the one and only Brian Powell. How are you, bro?
I'm doing good, brother. How are you?
Doing great. Really grateful for this very professional setup that you guys provided and for your time. When we met you, bro, first of all, there's a lot we want to talk about with you. But when we met you, it was at a fitness event hosted by the one and only Danielle Gardner. And at that time, you were the founder and CEO of Be Powerful Life. How can you talk about that?
For sure. Yeah. Be Powerful Organics.
Be Powerful Organics.
Yeah. So, when you met me was at Danielle's workout event, and that was like my first vendor setup with Be Powerful Organics, which for the listener was a grass-fed, grass-finished, all organic beef jerky company that I had started. But I haven't told you this yet, but I actually stopped doing beef jerky because I just have to focus on other stuff. I've got to focus on Be Powerful Coaching, which is my true calling, and that's where my heart's at right now, and that's really what I feel qualified to be bringing to the world right now. I don't know if I really felt fully qualified to be like making beef jerky,
Okay.
And I also didn't really have the right space in order to be producing beef jerky. I was just doing it out of my house, and like in order to get to the next level and like sell legally and stuff, I would have to get into a commercial kitchen, and because it is a meat product, there's lots of different hoops you have to jump through, as I'm sure being a food business yourself. It was just a lot, and I'm in the beginning stages of my coaching business. I was also in the beginning stages of the beef jerky business, and it's just like I can't do both at once.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
With your coaching, can you talk a little bit about that? What it entails,
Yeah.
how you started your whole journey?
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah. So Be Powerful Coaching is holistic health coaching, I like to say, because I try to help my clients with every aspect of health and wellness. I think that it's so much more than just working out, It's what you're putting into your body. It's understanding your connection with the universe and stuff. And I think, strength training and working out kind of brushes the surface of that connection with the universe. But it goes so much deeper than that, with just like understanding the breath and understanding nutrition and understanding all of the different aspects of holistic health, So right now, like my main focus is just in-person training, just training people privately. I either train people at their homes or apartments, go to their, or I'll go to a park and stuff. Like I'd love to train my clients at the park and get them connected with the earth, with their shoes off and stuff, and listening to music and connecting with their body and stuff. But yeah, I'm in the, beginning stages of my coaching business and stuff. It's always been something that I have done kind of on a part-time basis, or like, just not going all in. And now I know that it's really time for me to go all in,
I love that, especially in a space where I don't know if you have the same perspective, but not to overgeneralize, but a lot of it is ego driven or based off of appearance. And yes, like you said, movement, strength training, all of that is important for a healthy life. But sometimes we fixate on that and we miss all these other aspects that go into play when we're talking about holistic health. So I love that, and I really appreciate you doing that. For you, what's your journey been like with fitness? Has that always been a part of your life, or how do you get into the fitness space?
Yeah, for sure. So It started off when I was 17, and I was like struggling in school. I was just kind of having a hard time in, my childhood, like struggling to find purpose. And then I got into drugs and stuff, and my addiction is what led me to fitness. It was always like a saving grace for me. I had a friend in high school who was really fit and really about the gym, and that was like right when I was starting to kind of go off the deep end with heroin was the first drug that I really started to have a serious problem with, and that was like around seven. I tried it at age 17, but like 18 or 19 was when I really started struggling with it. Um, and yeah, he, pulled my ass to the gym and was like, here, let's fucking work out. Let's get you stronger. Let's, push your body and stuff. And at first I was really like turned off by it. And like, I just didn't think that I was like capable of being athletic or, doing, getting fit, I was just like, that just never crossed my mind as like, oh yeah, that's something that I see myself doing, but now looking, 13 years later, looking back at it, I can obviously now see, my path. Um, but yeah, I mean, that's where it started, from a place of not knowing who I was and not having any purpose in life. And I was really searching for purpose.
First of all, thank you for opening up about that. I genuinely want to ask you, where do you find the courage to be so open about it? Because I'm sure you're not the only one that's dealt with, well, first of all, lacking purpose. I think that's been a big part of our life, and like we're still in that pursuit. But for you, when you came across heroin, were you looking for it? Were you exposed to it? How did that happen?
Yeah. I had a buddy. So let's see. I moved. So I was living in Austin when I was from like age 9 to 16. And my junior year of high school, I found out that I was going to be moving to Park City, Utah. And I got to Utah, and like I was, a junior in high school. I didn't really have any friends. I wasn't, seeming to get along or socialize with the crowds and stuff. Like I was feeling really like an outcast and just kind of like a loser, And I had a class, or there was this other kid that I had 4 classes with, and he was from Michigan. He was new as well, so it was like we were both new for our junior years of high school, kind of both going through the same thing. And he was like a pretty bad kid. I definitely knew that, he wasn't the greatest. My parents would always be like, yeah, we don't like that kid. We don't want you hanging out with him and stuff, But I didn't listen to them, and I still would skip class with this dude. And he had a prescription for Klonopin, which is like Xanax, like a anti-anxiety, pretty highly abused anti-anxiety medication. Um, and we would take his Klonopin all the time, and like that seemed to like give us the courage to like kind of be more social in school and like, be a little bit more outgoing and stuff. And then one day I just like walked in on him like smoking heroin, and um, that definitely shocked me, but it also intrigued me because I was already, we were already doing Klonopin. We were already abusing drugs pretty heavily, and like that definitely takes your inhibitions away, So I was just kind of like, fuck it, yeah. What's heroin gonna do? Let's try it. Let's see what it's like, basically. And so yeah, I did it and got really sick, and you know, didn't really like it at first, but I do remember like the feeling. I remember what it felt like. Um, and then the next day, I did it again, and pretty soon after that, it was like an everyday thing.
How long did that go on for?
Um, I went to rehab for the first time when I was 19. So it went on for like a year and a half, and then I got caught like by my friend another friend that I was using with. He like got caught, and his mom hinted to my parents that like we were doing heroin and stuff, and so then my mom and dad were like, oh well, we should probably get him to rehab or something. They didn't really know what to do, but obviously that probably seemed like the best idea. So yeah, then I went to rehab when I was 19.
I can't even fathom that just because, like, when we were in high school, 18, 19, we would eat a bag of fucking Flaming Hots and throw up for 2 days. So, like, just to be able to, like, take that in and still, like, go through life, that's pretty gnarly.
Yeah. Wait, what do you mean you'd eat a bag of
Yeah, like, with a bag of fucking Flaming Hots, we'd be throwing up. I can't imagine if we were, like, doing heroin. We would just
a
probably.
bag of Flaming Hot Cheetos?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. During
Yeah.
that year and a half, what did the use of the substance provide for you?
Yeah. Man, it just became like such a ritual of like, so we lived in Park City, and Salt Lake City was like where all the heroin was. And so me and a couple of my friends who like, we eventually kind of all clicked up. It was like 4 or 5 of us that were doing it together. And we were all like right out of high school. Our parents, I mean, Park City is like rich, mountain town, lots of wealth. And ultimately all of our parents were pretty damn well off. So it was like, it didn't start with like, being on the street, homeless, like doing heroin. It was like, it started just hanging out at my house, after, like have breakfast with my mom. It's a pretty normal environment. But then like, I'm texting my buddies like, yo, like, who's got money, like where, what are we doing, what are we getting today, blah blah, all this. And like, we would kind of just like scheme and just make sure that we were all like free for the day, like make sure our parents like thought we were at work or like, doing something. Or yeah, I mean, we were fresh out of high school, so it was like our parents weren't really like onto us. They knew we were like smoking weed and we were like doing, drinking a little bit at parties and stuff, but like they didn't know we were doing heroin and crack and, stuff like that. So yeah, it was the ritual. It was like all about just like connecting with my friends that were doing it with me, and like hiding it from everybody around us. Like we would be hanging out in different groups, and like we were hiding it from all of like the normies that we were like hanging out with that had no idea what we were doing.
Yeah.
And for me personally, like it gave me just like a sense of confidence and like just worry free. It's just like all my worries washed away. Like I didn't have anxiety anymore. I didn't overthink shit constantly. Like my whole life I've always felt just out of place in my skin. Just always anxious, always overthinking, always feeling like I'm not enough. And like with heroin, I was like, I'm good.
Yeah. I don't want to pry, just it's intriguing to me, and some things I can relate. Where does that feeling of like not being enough or feeling out of place come from?
Yeah, I've been asked that a lot. Because people will say like, oh, it seems like you have it all together, you know, from the outside looking in. And um, it's like, I think it was just the way that I was put into this world. Like, I was like, God made me this way or something, you know? Um, I don't know. It's like, I just always feel lost. I feel confused. I feel um, like I'm not, I feel like I'm floating in like a bubble of just like, yeah, like I don't know, like I'm not here. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like I'm existing, but I'm not like actually here. You know, um, and that's something that I've felt my whole life. Like I'm feeling it right now. You know what I mean? And um, obviously, like learning how to be more present and stuff um, definitely helps. But like I still think psycho weird thoughts all the time and just want to escape and want to give up and want to just not be here, you know?
You and me both, bro.
Yeah.
Do you find any specific situations, environments, or things that you do that you feel like connected, or you feel you're exactly where you're supposed to be?
In the gym.
The gym?
Yeah. Um and even I mean even like recently training at On It Gym and being surrounded by some really freakishly fit people. Um Sometimes I feel out of place there. Um my thoughts of unworthiness definitely get pretty loud in there. Um, but I'm working through that and just showing up regardless of how I'm feeling has been really important. Like, I'm the type of person that, like, if I, um, like, don't follow through with my word and I like say I'm going to do something and then I don't do it and I like if I act out of integrity like enough times in a row, then I'm going to do something stupid. I'm going to self-sabotage. I'm going to beat myself up and I'm going to go do something really dumb and like screw up, you know?
Mm.
Um so like yeah, I mean moving my body like strength training, like moving my body and just like yeah, just being connected in that type of way is like where I feel most safe, you know?
Has that always been the case?
Um, no, definitely not. Like, I mean, ever since I started working out, like ever since I really started like understanding the body and understanding um, strength training and mobility and um, how to like fix different areas in my body that aren't feeling right and how to yeah once I started like really making some progress in the gym, then I started to feel whole, you know. When I first started working out, I knew I liked it, but I still felt so fucking lost, you
Mm.
know.
So you, as a coach, that you know better than anyone, like in order for the body to adapt in the way we want it to, whether it's like gaining muscle, there has to be enough of a stimulus. There has to be enough resistance. So emotionally, or like even right now that you feel those feelings of inadequacy, how are you able to use them for growth or for your advantage?
Mm. I would say um yeah, I've learned to like use positive affirmations while training and stuff to like tell myself that I'm enough, tell myself that I'm worthy, tell myself that I'm gonna create a successful business and that I'm gonna impact the world. Like, I just try to talk to myself through all my workouts, you know? And yeah, that definitely helps a lot, because there was a time when I would work out and I'd just be like, oh, this sucks. I fucking hate this. You know, I can't do this. I'm not, you know, like
Yeah.
that sort of energy bringing into every workout, and it just doesn't have the same effect, you know?
Sitting here talking to you, bro, I don't know if you realize, and I guess I didn't either because I didn't know to this extent that like I used to work out on it as well, so I can definitely relate to the feeling of being intimidated and being like, shit, there's this huge motherfucker over here, this is jack dude over here, and I'm just here with like 20-pound dumbbells. Um, but the fact that you have those feelings, you have those thoughts, and the Brian that I see on social media, who is one that radiates light and energy and hope, to me is so inspiring. And I don't know if you realize how courageous you are to have those feelings, sit with those feelings, and still project or still have the courage to act, despite of maybe sometimes mentally having doubts and insecurity. So that in of itself, I think, is huge, and I appreciate that from you.
Damn. Thank you, dude. I appreciate that a lot. Sometimes I feel like it's the only way to combat the feelings of unworthiness and the pain that I experience on a daily basis. The only way to transcend that is to just think and transmit the opposite, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I feel like your light comes from your pain, you know, whatever that may be. Everybody has a different you know, experience with pain, but I believe that that's where people's purpose lies,
Mm-hmm.
is in their pain.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely there to like kind of show you the way or illuminate where the most area for like evolution and just growth is. I don't know what the case is for you, and if you feel comfortable, I'd love to talk more about it. But like for example, for me, that feeling of being unworthy and kind of not deserving love comes from an early age of like at an early age being shown or told that way. Maybe not consciously, maybe like, oh, you're not enough, but having love being taken away or just being like kind of relegated. You grow up thinking or feeling that you're not enough. And that affirmation that you talk about, I think, is huge because at the end of the day, those feelings, at least for me, come from like this programming of like, you're not enough, you're not enough. So if I'm able to like rewire that programming, I think it's like a whole different world.
Mm-hmm.
So for you, where does that come from?
Yeah, on the lines of that, I agree 100%. Like, it is just a program, you know, and so many of us have that same program because of the way that we grew up with, you know, parents that didn't fully understand the true importance of like showing consistent like love and yeah. I feel like my mom, yeah, I always go into my relationship with my dad on podcasts, because that is, I mean, that is where it comes from, you know. Um, and I love my dad, and I know that like he's doing the best he can, you know what I mean? And like, whatever he carries that causes him to not be emotionally available is, at this point, it's beyond him, because I think he's sat with this resistance for so long that he's not gonna figure it out in this lifetime, I don't think, you know. But yeah, I think I didn't feel loved and appreciated and enough from my dad, you know. It was always like he just had some egotistical remark after everything that I would do. Like, it would be like, oh yeah, you did pretty good, but you could have done this, 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 and this, you know? Like, it was just like always. And it's like, come on, dude, why can't you just fucking give it to me? Like, just tell me I'm a fucking enough. You know what I mean? And like to this day, you know, it's still hard. But like the other day I was over at his house and he looked at me before I walked out and he was just like, hey, Brian, I want you to know that like, I know that you're going to have a really successful business. And like, not that that means everything, but like that means so much to him that I'm just like, fuck yeah, dude. I'm so glad to have your support there because yeah, I know I am, you know, but like it's different to now have my dad finally like admitting that he believes in me, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's so hard for them to just say it sometimes. And I was actually talking with another friend about this the other day, and he was saying how his mom has like never fully believed in him because his mom doesn't believe in herself, you know? And so having this realization that like maybe our parents don't believe in us because they actually don't believe in themselves, and you can't believe in somebody else until you believe in yourself, you know?
Yeah.
And so kind of being able to like forgive the human condition as a whole and just be like, okay, like I see you, Dad, you know, I see that you're trying, you know. That's been like enough for me lately. I've been doing a lot of like inner child stuff and just like trying to talk to my inner child and just tell him what he needed to hear at all different points of my life because yeah, that was a rough journey just growing up and just feeling so lost and empty and confused, you know.
Yeah. Well, we're more than happy that you were able to go through those really dark moments, which I'm sure weren't easy. But the man that I sit next to today and look at is one of, I'm sure from that pain, like you talked about, I see it, I feel it, like you're transforming that pain into purpose, most importantly. But ever since I met you at that first event, bro, like you just radiate love and good vibes and good energy. So in a fucked up way, not that I'm grateful that you went through all that shit, because I can't even imagine it, but also those moments shape us. Even when we don't understand why we're going through them, they play a piece of the puzzle.
100%. Yeah. I'm so grateful too because like even though it can be so hard just living inside of this fucking brain, like it's so beautiful at the same time because of the level of awareness that I have from where life took me, the things that I've seen, the things that I've experienced in my addiction specifically, and like now realizing like why it all happened, you know?
Yeah, I love it. Do you have any questions? I feel like I'm hogging the mic.
No, I'm just really intrigued with everything he's saying because, like you said, when we met you, it was like really inspiring, and for you to be going through all this and still to express and radiate so much light. Like I appreciate you being here right now, but being and like telling us your story and what you've been through, it's really inspiring and yeah, like I don't have anything to say. I'm just listening right now. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you very much. Appreciate you guys both, you know. I felt a connection with both of you at that event too, and that was like, you know, what I felt safe. I felt just like there's certain people, you know, that I feel like I'm like, oh, this person gets it, you know, and you guys are definitely some of those people, you know.
We appreciate that, bro.
And I know that you guys are gonna do amazing things in your endeavors as well because you guys both have such good hearts and want to help people.
Thank you, bro. That means a lot. Yeah. So we've talked about your shadow, your dark moments in life, which I think it's important to integrate and not keep them hidden because then they come back with more force. So I think it's a superpower for you to be able to go through all that and be standing here as a man you are. How do you use those experiences, whether it's in your coaching or just knowing that you're able to go through the darkest moments and still come out of it with light and radiating?
Yeah. I try to just like go back to like some of the most painful, like hopeless moments of like coming off of drugs, honestly, like detox, psychosis, like those types of experiences, and just like relive that for a little bit and just compare that to whatever like small thing that I'm dealing with on a day to day, you know? Um, Sometimes like the things in life that like cause me anxiety, um, they fuck, I lost my train of thought. I hate when that happens. Um, okay, so like some of the darker moments in my life have been like really incredibly painful, but I'm I'm almost more like able to get through those really hard times, so like a near death sort of situation, than I am just like going to the fucking local coffee shop and just like sparking a conversation up with a person, you know? Like I'm like I think I'd rather overdose on heroin and die and then come back from that and instead of that, you know? Like so yeah, I don't know if that answered that question, but I try to just just relive some of the really painful moments and then just be extremely grateful that I'm like not there right at that moment. And I'm like, all right, you got it, Brian. You can go do that thing, you know?
Yeah. I want to hear your take. Maybe it's not the case for you and we can move on. But I feel I can relate in the sense that, like, really drastic and painful moments have shaped our lives. And then from there, there's been no other option but to rise up, you know? And then there feels like there comes a place where when you're kind of like finding balance or stable or just unfamiliar territory, you kind of feel like you need to do something extreme or live through something really fucked up or extreme to go back into that state. And it's kind of, for me at least, it's kind of been like self imploding, kind of self sabotage to get into the space where I'm like, okay, I need to get my shit together.
Yeah. Dude, I've been just thinking about that recently. Um because like I was talking about before we clicked play, um, or we clicked record, I was talking about like how I'm struggling with like using thoughts, you know, because I just got out of sober living and I've been alone for the last like 5 days. And been thinking like, you know what? I'm feeling kind of stuck. Like I'm feeling kind of discouraged in like entrepreneurship and like maybe I just need to go relapse again and then I'll have some more fire, you know? Then I'll be like, oh man, I gotta fucking pick myself back up from that and like fucking go for it, you know? But the truth is like, if I keep self sabotaging in that way, I'm just, you know, kicking the can down the fucking road and like setting myself back. It's not worth going off and going on a run and using drugs and then having to come back from that, you know, because every time that I do that, it's a lot more than just like a little one night sort of thing, you know. It's usually like there's a lot of damage attached to it, and it ultimately comes from me just wanting to give up, you know. And if I'm wanting to give up, it's like I'm wanting to give up on my mission, you know? And so, yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to get that same, like, you know, all right, we got another wave of fucking, you know, determination and grit. And like, I'm trying to get that same fire without burning the house down, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
You know?
You're very unique in different ways, but one of the ways is you being so open. For anyone that might be dealing with any substance abuse, whether it's drugs, alcohol, even like pornography, things that like we use to kind of diminish the fears and doubts we have. After your experience, you being what you've been through, is there anything you can share that's helped you, or yeah, just kind of like as inspiration or hope?
Yeah. I think understanding like energy and the fact that like every time you engage in like a self-defeating behavior, a self-defeating behavior like porn or drug, you know, just like bad drug behavior, anything in excess, I feel like you're just like you're lowering your vibration and you're disconnecting yourself from the source energy that perfectly guides you through life. And so every time you engage in a low vibrational behavior, like you're just setting that clock back. You're disconnecting yourself from God, you know, more and more every time. And so by getting more present and just like sitting with whatever urge that you have and just like, all right, can I just like sit and just not do anything harmful to myself, or, you know, can I just sit here and just let my thoughts go wild and just sit in my head and just let it all just go crazy up there? Am I going to get through it? And the answer is yes, you will, you know? And, so yeah, just sitting with your urges a little bit more, you know, and using healthy practices that I like teach all my clients, which is like, you know, either working out or getting sun exposure, putting your feet in the grass, drinking filtered water, eating some good food, talking to another conscious friend or someone, and just talking to anybody, doing something that like is gonna raise your vibration, you know, instead of that self-defeating behavior. But easier said than done, you know. And forgive yourself when you do whatever it is that you do that's self-defeating, because I think when you engage in a behavior with this feeling of shame around it, then you are putting that low vibration into your universe. Whereas if you're engaging in the behavior with love, then your whole experience is going to be a little bit different, you know? Mm-hmm. So yeah, like obviously I still have plenty of unhealthy habits, and when I do engage in those habits, I try to just do it with love, you know? Jerk off with love.
Yeah, of course, that's the only way.
Yeah.
Or so I've heard. No, I love that. That's beautiful, bro. I feel like you even just speaking on it, being open about it, and I mean, not that that weight should carry on you. But I do know that there's people that deal with many roadblocks, so to speak, and don't necessarily have the way of or the tools to handle them in a healthy way. So for those that do resort to substances, having someone that has been down that path, has been through the journey, and is openly talking about it, like I feel like since it's very taboo, maybe a lot of people are going through it, but no one fucking talks about it. So then when you're going through it, it feels like you're going through shit alone, and then until it's too late, where someone makes a drastic decision or something like that, that's when we start talking about it. So I really do admire how courageous you are about being open and vulnerable.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that a lot. I get that a lot, and I just tell everyone the same thing. It's like I'm just the way I am, and I don't know how to not be this way. I guess that's probably my life purpose, to just be vulnerable and be open and help people by being vulnerable. Because like you said, like so many people, it seems like they either don't go through shit or they're just like running from all their shit, Sometimes it is to a fault. Like I over identify with my trauma and pain sometimes. And then I just and then I live in it, but now I'm doing a better job of walking through it while still talking about it and bringing it to light and kind of still letting it be a part of my story, but not like holding me back.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
So right now, what are you excited about? What are you happy about? What do you got going on? How's life?
Yeah.
That's a very broad question, but
Yeah.
what are you happy about?
No, for sure. I'm excited about this new year. I'm excited to get through this season, meaning this like holiday season without self-sabotaging. I'm excited for my coaching business to really start taking off and getting more clients and putting my story out there on Instagram, and also just pushing my knowledge of fitness out there to the world, because I've always kind of held back on like content and just like sharing what I know on Instagram, because I feel like I don't know. I feel like I'm not enough. I feel like I'm scatterbrained in my head and I sound like a fucking idiot when the camera comes on, and I'm worthless. And this next year, I'm like finally willing to like overcome all that shit and just put it out there and just go for it and just let it happen, So yeah, I'm really excited about that. I'm excited that I'm, with online coaching, with in-person training, with just bringing health and wellness to the world. Like it's going to allow me to travel. It's going to allow me to just really experience life. Like I've one of the reasons I think I keep falling back into drugs is because I've not fully allowed myself to like experience life and go travel and have a lot of experiences, because like finances has always been like a barrier for me, and so I'm excited about becoming financially free and just becoming physically fucking free too, and just getting to live my life and explore this beautiful world that we live in.
I'm fucking excited for you, bro. Clearly, you know what the fuck you're talking about. Fucking hot piece of ass over here. But I can relate to that. Like, why the fuck would anyone listen to me? Like, I know you can invest your time, money into like studying, learning from people, and you have all this information, but it's yourself holding you back because judgment, or I don't know enough. There's people that know more than I do. But like I was saying, clearly you know your shit, and at the same time, the fact that you've had the experiences you've had, I think that can provide so much more benefit to people than any book or any certification, which I mean is important, but just life experiences, and being able to provide support for people when you have gone through really fucking tough times. I mean, I just hope um, you find your peace through this journey because I feel like you have so much to give and so much to provide to people. So I'm really excited for you.
Thank you. Appreciate that a lot. Yeah. Can I ask you guys a question?
For sure.
What are you guys trying to accomplish with this podcast in specific?
Do you want to? So for me, a lot of my life and my purpose in general comes from when I was 18. My best friend committed suicide, and up until that point, we like played on the same college team. We grew up together. No one really talked about mental health, emotional health. It was just like this is, or speaking for myself, like I identified as a soccer player, and this is what I'm gonna be, and that's all I knew. That's who I was. And I was going through my own like emotional trials and tribulations. So when that happens and it opens up the door to this whole another world of emotional and mental issues or just concepts, I came across a book called Conversations with God. And from that book, the biggest takeaway for me was we are souls living the human experience. So if you go through your whole life ignoring your soul and just vibrating at a lower frequency, I feel like the soul manifests itself through depression, through addiction, or different things. So then from there, I think this is my attempt of like just feeding my soul or just feeling fulfillment at a soul level, um, and creating connections about concepts that influence our soul, if that makes sense. So like I care what you do for a living, I care your hobbies and all that, but beyond that I want to like just connect at a deeper level. Why do you do what you do? Why beef jerky? Why fitness? What experiences led you to this? So just sitting down with people that we can connect and just resonate at a higher level, this is what that is for me.
Fuck yeah. That's awesome, dude. Thank you for sharing that.
For me,
Diego.
I played professionally soccer for 3 years. We come from a small border town where not many people make it out. And I also do a bit of modeling like as a side thing. But for the past 2 years, I haven't been playing soccer. So it's like, oh, are you still a soccer player? Oh, are you still this? Oh, are you still that? Um, and there's more to me than just soccer, modeling, or what people see on social media. Um, and just being open and vulnerable with like sometimes life isn't going to be going our way, and it's okay. We keep working through it. You have your ups and downs. It's okay. People go through them. But I don't know. Sometimes I've been approached on social media and like people saying they look up to me, where it kind of like blows my mind in a way where like I don't even have my life figured out. So like, how can you possibly look up to me? But at the same time, I want to be a good role model for those people or those kids that did approach me when I was playing soccer. So even if I'm not playing soccer right now, I want to be a good example. I want to show people it's okay to feel whatever you have to feel, because sometimes what people see on social media is not always true, and they think you're living a perfect life when we all have our shit going on.
Fuck yeah. Mic drop. Yeah, dude, seriously, like it's crazy how you look at other people's like highlight reel of their social media and you create this story in your head about how great their life is and how perfect everything is with the perfect fucking workout video to the song that they're playing, and then the next slide is, you know, this picture of them and you're like, oh my god, they must fucking make $1 million a year and they must be so happy, you know. And it's like, no, they're just good at editing their shit, you know. And like, well, you know, you just never know. You never know what somebody's true story is, but it's very easy to create this facade that everything's great, you know? And I think that social media is designed to do that. And that's the way that it kind of is destructive in a sense. And it has like this dark connotation to it because it can suck the life out of you by deceiving, you know? Yeah, but that's awesome. I love hearing why you guys are doing this because I think it all comes from a pretty similar place, right? People want to start a podcast to talk to the great people that they know in their life and get other people, you know, talking on their platform and stuff so that the world can see that there's other good people out there and, you know, doing good things and whatever, having awesome conversations. I love podcasting, dude. Super fun.
Yeah, just to be able to connect and based off like authenticity and just be genuine, be vulnerable, and share that with the world. Because going back to what you were saying about social media, like it seems like if you don't have X amount of money or X amount of luxuries, you are a failure or you're not up to the standard. And life is so much more than a number on your bank account or how you look or six pack. So just to be able to connect on things that make this experience wholesome and fulfilling, I think that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But that's gonna be us with the perfect video and the perfect music with Sky's help. Which to put him on the spot, we would love to get Sky as our next guest on this podcast.
There you go.
But yeah, bro.
Cameraman is the next guest.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have to set that up, but we'll figure it out.
Cameraman's a good friend and client of mine. We've been training a couple times a week and just hitting some good park workouts together. So
Is he a good client?
cameraman's gonna be jacked
Yeah, fuck yeah.
pretty soon.
I can already
He's
see it. I
jacked.
can already see.
He's already.
Let's go. Yeah, look at that. Fuck yeah. I want to be mindful of your time, bro. I know you got a busy schedule.
Yeah.
So we could talk to you for hours. Hopefully we can do another episode together. I know
Absolutely.
there's still a lot to unpack. Anything you want to leave off of before you head out?
I think kind of based on what the topic of conversation today, I would say I just encourage the listener to really be fearless and vulnerable in life and take all of your different experiences that life has brought you and figure out, you know, the purpose, the meaning of it all, and try to look at things from a place of love and gratitude and curiosity instead of you know, victimization and fear and ego. I think this whole thing is all perspective. Like, you're gonna get the reality that you perceive, you know? So if you're perceiving that life is unfortunate and things are happening to you and you're a victim and poor you, then that's going to be your experience. You can have two people with the same life and the same, I mean, you can't have that, but you know what I'm saying? Two people experiencing the same thing. One of them perceives it as a gift and an offering, and the other person perceives it as like a, you know, how could this happen to me type thing. And their realities are completely different based on their perspective, you know? So have an optimistic perspective on life and be vulnerable and be powerful.
That was beautiful. That's a perfect way to end this episode. Guys, if you found any value, if you connected with anything, please help us out by liking, subscribing, and sharing. Thank you so much for your time, bro. We love you. We appreciate
you
you.
too.
You're a huge source of inspiration for us. So please keep doing your thing. We'll share your Instagram handle. Is there anything else you want to put out so people can follow you?
Yeah, just my Instagram handle is really all I have right now. I'm working on a website for my coaching.
Awesome.
But I don't have it up yet. So,
Okay, perfect.
yeah.
Make sure to follow the journey, follow the process. We appreciate you guys and we love you guys. Thank you, bro.